Welcome back everybody, Matt the Bat here. As you can see, I shaved, got a haircut. I'm looking styling and profiling. So today's podcast is going to be a little bit different this time. We're moving from DC, Batman, over to Marvel. Not Iron Man, even though this is the Iron Man emblem. But imagine instead of this, a number 4 right in the middle. That's right. We are here today to talk about the Fantastic Four. We know this movie's coming. You know, we just heard not too long ago, I did a podcast last week on who should direct the Fantastic Four now that John Watts has stepped down. You can go watch that video on the channel if you haven't already. And on my, spoiler, if you did not see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we saw Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and in another universe. Was it 838 or something like that? Earth 838 or 616. And John Krasinski, you know, the fan favorite, the fan casting. Marvel went ahead and got John Krasinski. Now, I'm gonna say this right now. We do not know if John Krasinski is actually going to be Mr. Fantastic in the proper MCU. I mean, in our universe that we've had, you know, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow, Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye, Chris Hemsworth's Thor, Chris Evans' Captain America. We don't know if John Krasinski is going to be the same Reed Richards in our MCU. Because once again, you know, I think Marvel doesn't know what it's doing right now. Because like I said, you had Wanda, Elizabeth Olsen, be the same Wanda, same person in one universe and in our universe, so same actress. But then you watch the Loki series, and in the other universes, there's different actors playing Loki. Some of them older, some of them younger. We even got a crocodile Loki. Or then you watch like Spider-Man No Way Home, where in different universes, you got different Peter Parkers, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and in our MCU universe, Tom Holland. So, right now, it's still up in the air if John Krasinski is actually going to be our Reed Richards. Because Marvel could have just been like, you know what? Everybody wants John Krasinski. Let's throw him in here for a nice little 2 scenes. So that way it makes everyone happy. And then when we actually make the Fantastic Four movie, in our, I think it was 616 universe, we're going to have a different actor playing Reed Richards. They might do that and have John Krasinski direct the movie. That could happen. I'm just saying. There is a pretty big possibility of that happening, actually. But let's say, for now, John Krasinski is our Reed Richards in our MCU timeline. That started in 2008. So today, on today's podcast, we are going to talk about who could be Johnny Storm. Now, I'm going to do a podcast on Johnny Storm, fan casting, and Susan Storm, fan casting. But for today, I am doing Johnny Storm, and either tomorrow or sometime next week, I'm going to have a podcast on who I would like to see possibly play Sue Storm. Who, as we know, Sue Storm ends up with Reed Richards, they get married, they have children, but also Sue Storm has a younger brother, Johnny Storm, who becomes the Human Torch. You know, we saw them in the mid-2000s. We had 2 Fantastic Four movies, and Chris Evans played the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, and in my opinion, between him and Michael Chiklis as the Thing, Chris Evans was the best part of both the Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. That's why everyone was not too happy at the beginning when they got Chris Evans to play Steve Rogers. They're like, the guy from Not Another Teen Movie and Johnny Storm in Fantastic Four is going to be our Captain America, our Boy Scout, our leader. No way. Well, he was ended up being one of the best actors portrayals in the MCU so far. So again, Marvel knows how to cast. But now we're looking at the MCU Fantastic Four movie, and who can be our Johnny Storm now? And I got a list here, and I got 5 actors and 1 honorable mention. So let's get through it. I have not really a particular order. Now there's 1 or 2 I might say they might be at the top of my list. But either one of these actors that they announce tomorrow or in another month or so, Johnny Storm is going to be played by this actor. I'll be fine with it. So let's start out. The first name on the list, Zac Efron. I don't know about you, but I really like Zac Efron. Zac Efron. Movies like Neighbors, where he really got to show not only his comedic talent, but also he had a lot of range in that movie. That movie surprised me, especially him. He was the funny frat boy, which you need that in a little bit of a Johnny Storm. The cockney, hotshot, know-it-all, risk taker. But then when you watch Zac Efron in Neighbors, when he gets into like the second and third act, you see more of a complex character, a flawed, lonely person, and Zac Efron was really able to nail that. Like in the first Neighbors and in the second Neighbors, that I said, you know what? This guy is a really good actor when you give him the right material. Plus, you look at his body. Look at these shots from Neighbors. And in the other movie, Baywatch, that he did with Dwayne Johnson. Not a great movie. But once again, he was one of the best parts of that movie. And just look at his body. Put that in a Fantastic Four outfit. Johnny Storm, you got him. He has the looks, charisma, he can be funny, he can be cocky, he can be a hot shot. I think Zac Efron, this would be a huge win for him. He's been in dramas like The Greatest Showman. He played Ted Bundy in the Netflix movie a couple years ago and did a really good job in that. I know he's in the new remake of Firestarter that came out this weekend. And I heard the movie's not that good, but Zac Efron does a really good job. So I would 100, if they announced Zac Efron as Johnny Storm, I would be very happy. My next thing is, I don't know how do you say his first name, Zachary Montgomery or Darcy Montgomery. People probably recognize him from Stranger Things and from the Power Rangers reboot they did a couple years ago. I think this guy has the looks. As we've seen in Stranger Things, he can also be that asshole, dickish, hotshot, ladies' man. And like I said, and then you look at him in Power Rangers, where he shows some dramatic stuff too. I think, not a lot of people know him that well still, other than Stranger Things. So this is an actor that can come into this role and bring something that we haven't seen before, and also still feel fresh and new. So I think Zachary Montgomery would be a very good choice for Johnny Storm. Another one on here is Taron Egerton. A lot of people recognize this guy from the Kingsman movies. Kingsman as Eggsy. once again, another hot shot, foul mouth, charming. He just has the look. And once again, there's another guy you can see putting on the Fantastic Four, the blue, putting the number 4 in the middle, and just owning the look. And with the charisma, chemistry, and they get the right actress to play his sister. You know, this guy is a really good actor, not only from the Kingsman movies, but you look at like Eddie the Eagle, he really played like a nerdy, lonely, you know, loser. And then you look at him like in playing Elton John in Rocket Man. He did a fantastic job in that movie. And once again, that really shows some dramatic weight and different range and levels. That, once again, for Johnny Storm, yeah, he can be the cocky hotshot. But if Marvel really wants to develop their character, you're going to have a lot of underlining, like, messed up, you know, stuff going on. Meaning this guy who, his whole body lights on fire. I mean, there can be some scariness to that an actor can bring, like Taron Egerton, to the role. For some reason, people want this guy to play Wolverine. And I'm like, no, this is not Wolverine. This is like a Johnny Storm type of actor. Another guy is Sam Claflin. A lot of people recognize this guy from the Hunger Games, playing Finnick in Catching Fire and Mockingjay. I've always liked this guy when I first saw him on screen in the Hunger Games. Once again, he shows that cocky side, charming side, hot shot side in the first half of Catching Fire. But then when they get into the games, you also see that charm and that heart with that old lady he takes care of. And then we get to like Mockingjay, where he's completely wiped down and stripped down to like nothing and depressed, and just you see a lot more dramatic weight from him. And then you look at movies like Me Before You, where he played the paraplegic in the wheelchair, and that really showed like the real true dramatic weight too. I just saw him in The Last Night in Soho, the new Edgar Wright movie that came out last year. He only had one scene in that movie, and he's actually grown up quite a bit. And I was like, man, I miss you. Where have you been? He was also in the Charlie's Angels reboot. And like I said, I think this guy has the look. Someone did some fan art. And he looks like he could easily be Johnny Storm. Easily. You pair him with like a Blake Lively as Sue Storm. Yeah, that would work perfectly. And I think he needs it. You know, he tried to do Charlie's Angels. It didn't work out. He did the last 2 Hunger Games movies. Okay, that was a book series. Wasn't gonna go that far. This could be what he needs, and especially when you look at Marvel. When you get hired for a Marvel movie, you're gonna be on it for a long time. You're gonna be doing multiple movies, probably showing up in other movies also. And this can be a big win for him. Another guy on this list is probably the most unknown, is Rudy Panko. Rudy Panko plays JJ in Outer Banks, season 1 and 2. And something about this guy, he's charming, he has a little bit of an edge to him, he can be a little hotshot, cocky, and the one thing I really like about him, a lot of people do not know this guy. He is really an unknown actor. Other than for Outer Banks, he hasn't been in anything else. And to bring someone, and that's what I think this Fantastic Four movie needs. If you want to get John Krasinski as Reed Richards and another known actress as Sue Storm, I think someone like a Johnny Storm, go with an unknown actor. Or someone you know, people aren't, like, you say John Krasinski, people know who you're talking about. You say like an Emily Blunt, people know who you're talking about. Even though I don't want Emily Blunt. I'll get to that in the Sue Storm fan casting. But Rudy is so unknown Like, you're bringing in a guy like him to play Johnny Storm. Like, no one knew Tom Holland. No one knew Chris Hemsworth. Nobody knew... Who else? I'm blanking. And the guy who played Shang-Chi. No one knew him. I mean, there's a lot of actors in Marvel that nobody knew until a Marvel movie. Like the two biggest right now, Chris Hemsworth, Tom Holland. You bring in an actor like Rudy that nobody really knows, except Outer Banks. He can become the next Tom Holland, the next Chris Hemsworth. And I think that would be good for the Fantastic Four movie. Known actors for the main two, unknown actor for like a Johnny Storm. Perfect. And my honorable mention on here is Gwen Powell. He was in the movie Everybody Wants Them, where he once again he played a baseball player, a jock, cocky, hot shot. He has the look. He was in this Netflix movie called Set It Up, where he showed his romantic, charming personality with Zoe Deutsch. He's going to be in the new Top Gun movie, Top Gun Maverick, where he's supposed to be playing like the Val Kilmer Iceman role. So you know he's going to be a hot shot, probably a little bit of a bully, full of himself, and he has the body. Just put him in a Fantastic Four suit. I think he would do a great job. So those are my picks for fan casting Johnny Storm in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie for Marvel. You let me know. Who do you pick? Who do you want to see play Johnny Storm? Do you want a known actor, or do you want an unknown actor? Or maybe an actor that's already in the business, but is not like a, like I said, not like a John Krasinski. Or not like a, I don't know, Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know. You know. Do you want someone known, or do you want someone unknown? Do you want a Zac Efron? Or do you want a Rooney? Do you want a Sam? Or do you want a Karen? What do you want? You let me know in the comments. Anyway, Matt the Matt here. Look for my next podcast on Sue Storm, coming either tomorrow or by Sunday or sometime early next week. I'll let you know. Stay tuned.